How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is currently running its Planet of the Discount sale. There's a lot of good deals available, and we're gonna highlight some of the best deals under the price of $5. Now, there are a lot of deals under the price of $5 in this sale, so there are actually quite a few more that I'm going to mention in this video. We might do another video. We'll see. Quite a bit of stuff, so let's just get right into it, and let's kick things off with Castle Crashers, which is 70% off for $4.49. Excellent deal for Castle Crashers. If you are looking for a co-op action beat-em-up title, this is a great one that has just kind of aged gracefully. Like, it definitely, back in the day, didn't reinvent the wheel of compelling co-op titles, but it was a game that was incredibly enjoyable, and I felt like back in the day, it was a game that people would just go back to when there was nothing else out. They're like, yeah, you want to jump into some Castle Crashers? And yeah, it's a good time if you just want a pretty relaxed game to chill out and have a good time with. I'm of the mindset that this game is, best played cooperatively. I often say with games like Borderlands, like, bro, you can play that game solo. With Castle Crashers, I feel like the co-op play here is what really does make the experience better, but some people disagree with me on that. Let's be honest, some people think the solo experience in Castle Crashers is fine, so if that's the case with you, you're still gonna have a good time with the game, so keep that in mind. $4.49, great price, so definitely do check it out. Next up, we have Dragon Age Inquisition Game of the Year Edition, 90% off for $3.99. We're going back in time, boys, to when BioWare wasn't washed. Yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition to some people is the start of the downfall of BioWare. I truly thought Dragon Age Inquisition was still a solid game. An enjoyable RPG, pretty good story, gameplay was enjoyable. Not, like, again, didn't reinvent the wheel here, but it was still perfectly acceptable. Visuals, I think, are great, and a game that is a decade old, I still feel holds up pretty well. $3.99, great price, and with the Game of the Year Edition, you're getting a lot of bonus content, so definitely a good pickup there. Next up, we got Firewatch, 75% off for $4.99. Whenever Firewatch goes on sale and is sub $5, I like to give it a shout. It's one of those games that I remember when it came out back in February of 2016. Wow, to think about 8+ years since the release of this. It was a game that certainly got the discussions going within the gaming community. A lot of people talked about it, and it's a game that a lot of people did enjoy. There were obviously criticisms for the length of the game as well as the ending I wasn't crazy about, but from a visual standpoint, the game is phenomenal. It still looks fantastic 8 years later. Just had a great watercolor art style. The atmosphere is great. And while $20 is probably too expensive, for $4.99, I really do think it's a great buy, so I would definitely give it a shout. Do check that out. Next up, we have XCOM 2, 95% off for $2.99. XCOM 2 is a game that I often go to bat for. Ideally, you do want to pick up XCOM 2, the complete collection. That is not on sale right now, so it is what it is. The base game is a third of the price of what the complete collection, around the third of the price of what the complete collection usually goes for, so there is that as well. XCOM 2 is a rewarding tactics-based game, a genre that I'm not super into, but I did find a lot of enjoyment out of XCOM Enemy Unknown, and then XCOM 2, I felt built upon that. It should be noted, the performance isn't anything to write home about. Like, let's be real, this game has some issues as far as that's concerned, and it's not like it has a PS5 upgrade or anything like that, which is a bit of a bummer, but what can you do? The game is available on Plus Extra, so you can play it that way, but buying it for $2.99, pretty damn good deal there. Next up, we got SOMA, 85% off for $4.49. Excellent deal for SOMA, which I think you can make an argument is Frictional's best game that they've put out. I need to play more of Amnesia the Bunker, so, like, that's with that being said. I thought SOMA was a fantastic game, and it does what horror games need to do well, creating an engrossing atmosphere. It does that exceptionally well, and it has just such a compelling world, and as a horror game, it does a good job of not making you like an overpowered soldier or anything like that. You are very much psychologically invested into this game, and it just does a really good job pulling at that element of the world. $4.49 is an excellent buy. It's a super short game, so keep that in mind, but really well worth it for that price point. Next up, we got Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 2, 75% off for $4.99. Now, at this stage, if you're buying this game, chances are you are buying it from the standpoint of it being a single-player title. You're going into it for the single-player component of the game, and the single-player component is quite good because Storm 2 in particular covers, in my my opinion, the height of the Naruto anime, and it covers that height very, very well and executes a narrative structure that is done very well. And when I say the height of Naruto, I mean from the beginning of Shippuden up until the fight between Naruto and Pain. That 150 episode stretch, you know, I guess it would be a little bit less because there was that one filler arc in there, but that, let's say 130 episode stretch, just chef's kiss as far as that's concerned. I think that might be my favorite stretch of episodes from a long-running anime ever, and it's not like I've watched a ton of long-running anime, but I think that stretch of episodes is better than, like, any arc in DBZ. Don't take me to the gallows for that opinion, alright guys? Relax, but, yeah, for, you know, that stretch of episodes, I thought they did it phenomenally, and it's done very well in this game. $4.99, I think it's a great price. Certainly would give that a shout. It's like a 12 to 14 hour campaign, so that's what you're paying money for. Next up, we got Mato Anomalies, 75% off for $3.74. Now, this is certainly a lower budget JRPG. I was actually given a copy of this game, and I did enjoy it. I think some of the aesthetics are fantastic. I think from a narrative structure, it's interesting. Is it blow away? No, the combat style is fairly basic, all things considered, but, you know, the initial price point was $40. Even for that price point, for a new game, they knew that it was a budget title, and it was fine at that price point, but $3.74, if you're a fan of JRPGs, I do think you'll end up enjoying the game and you'll have a good time with it. Pretty good price point for that. So again, this is for the hardcore of hardcore JRPG fans, but I know a lot of you guys watching this channel are, so I think that'll fall in line with what some of you guys want. Next up, we got Hotline Miami, the collection, 75% off for $4.99. You got Hotline Miami 1 and 2 here. This is a fantastic collection of some games that really, their throwback visual style I feel like is endearing to anybody, and endearing might not be the right word to describe Hotline Miami, but you get the idea. I feel like anybody can be captivated by the presentation style of Hotline Miami. It's just a ton of fun. Over-the-top action gameplay, soundtrack is quite good, just a good time all around, and to get both games for $4.99, certainly a good pickup there. Next up, we got Castlevania, Requiem, Symphony of the Night, and Rondo of Blood. Speaking of throwback titles here, $3.99 for both of these games. Symphony of the Night is obviously one of the most iconic, really, video games of all time. Certainly one of the most iconic PlayStation 1 video games of all time, and really, a lot of people do harken back to it as one of their favorite Castlevania games of all time, if not the favorite. $3.99 for the collection is great. Rondo of Blood was one of those games that for a long time was missing here stateside. It was in the Dracula X Chronicles on PSP, but as much of a fanboy of the PSP as I am, a lot of you guys never played on the PSP, so having it in this collection is great. And lastly, Resident Evil Revelations, 75% off for $4.99. I think this is a really good buy. Resident Evil Revelations is another one of those criminally underrated Resident Evil titles. It was initially a 3DS game, and then it got ported over to PS3, 360, PC, then later brought to PS4 and Xbox One as well. And it's a well-done Resident Evil game. Like, I know most people look at, like, Biohazard Resident Evil, bringing the franchise back, and then obviously subsequently the remakes did a fantastic job, but Revelations was really, really damn good, and a lot of people just forget about it. Atmosphere is great. Visuals aren't anything to write home about, given that, again, it is initially a 3DS game, but well done game, and for sub $5, I think a really good pickup. But that is going to do it for me. Again, 10 really solid PSN game deals under the price of $5. Links to all of these will be in the description box down below. As always, check them out, and thank you for watching. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.